Thank you, Chairman Johnson and Ranking Member Lucas. Chairman Johnson, I just wanted to say congratulations on your upcoming retirement. And after a long and admirable career in public service, I truly admire all the work that you've done working on a bipartisan basis. I also want to thank each of the witnesses for their testimony and sharing their extensive research and experience with us. This question is for Dr. Kelleher. I understand that most advanced semiconductors are currently being manufactured in Taiwan. As you know, there is concern that China may eventually attempt to invade Taiwan and take ownership of its semiconductor expertise. We've already seen examples of the CCP poaching Taiwan's talent and intellectual property. Can you please speak to the importance of securing IP and semiconductor expertise from this uncertainty? How would the programs in CHIPS Act support this endeavor?
Well, I'll start with, first of all, I will start with saying that back in July, I outlined from Intel our path back to where we get back to overall leadership from a process perspective, and we're aiming to get there in 2025, and we're spending pretty significant investment in that happening. One of the key things that I think we needs to be, and I have said this in my testimony multiple times, as I've been talking about this, is maintaining the IP within the United States. I think it's absolutely critical for United States leadership in semiconductor, leading edge, that we maintain critical IP for that within the United States. Then all of us have the appropriate policies in terms of protecting that and how we ensure that that IP maintains within the United States. But I think within this work, within this overall CHIPS Act, and within this overall funding going forward, we need to enable that.
Thank you so much for those comments. I greatly appreciate it. Dr. Shang, in my district, we're home to Iowa State University, which houses a microelectronics research center, which is doing fantastic work in developing new materials that could transform the speed and efficiency of computing and increase the production of sustainable agriculture. Universities will be crucial to increasing domestic microelectronics manufacturing to ensure that we have adequate jobs and a skilled workforce that can fill these jobs. How can industry and universities work together to provide support in developing a stronger practice-oriented programs and provide necessary research and education laboratories for these essential infrastructure and for training that could be appropriately made?
Thank you, Congressman, for the question. And indeed, it is essential for universities of this country and the private sector to work very closely together. There are three broad lanes. One is R&D collaboration. One is workforce, not only recruiting, but development together through internship, through upgrade to facilities, and through online learning. And the third is co-location, economic development that creates knowledge and jobs together, that creates the positions to be filled and the talent that can fill them. And in this regard, here in my home state of Indiana, Governor Holcomb and his team and Secretary of Commerce in our state rep chambers have been working very closely with universities such as Purdue to create that economic development engine. And I think that in addition to R&D and workforce, by co-locating physically factories of the future, along with the workforce of the future, that is the best way to both develop talents and to develop the manufacturing capacity. Over.
So, Congressman, I'd just like to add to the fact, of course, that Ames National Lab at Iowa State is also a very important contributor in this, and their Center for Critical Materials. So let me call out a close partner of ours.
Yeah, well, and I just wanted to comment on that, Dr. Witherall, that, they lead the efforts in graphene research, quantum material discovery, and critical materials. And quantum materials holds promise for quantum computing, which I'm very passionate about, but also next generation information storage. How do you see graphene and quantum materials enabling the next generation of microelectronics?
Well, I think this is part of the role of the national laboratories, because we don't know which of these materials will end up winning the game a few years from now. This is a very fast-moving thing. And so we need to have these laboratories that have the scale and R&D capacity to try these things and find out which of the ones are low risk enough to be translated over into industry. That's what our job is.
Well, thank you so much for your comments, everyone. I'm really excited about this hearing, and I yield back.